Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. We've got a 6-game NBA slate today on Thursday. It is almost the weekend. Welcome to the channel. I'm happy to have you here. I'm going to break down this NBA slate. If this is your first time here, my name is Sal. I cover daily fantasy sports for really all the major sports, the NFL, what is right now the NBA, and what will be very, very soon, officially 1 week from today, I believe, 1 week from today, Thursday, the MLB opening day. I will be covering that. I will be covering the MLB as much as I personally can. I will be getting some help from some other people that I will be releasing the information on that coming soon over the next week or so. But right now we're talking about the NBA. We have a 6-game slate tonight. It looks good. We have a lot of news early on, and we like that. Once again, if this is your first time here or you're returning, if you could hit me up with a thumbs up, it helps me so much, helps these videos reach a lot more people. We get about 20 or so people a day, but some days when we get a lot of likes, if we could break 100 likes, that'd be awesome. We get a little bit more. And I want to ask a question of the day to everybody. I want to ask you guys, what is the one thing related to MLB DFS, if you're somebody who plays Major League Baseball DFS, that you struggle with or that you want to learn more about? That's something that I'd like to put into some videos or as video on its own. So down below, right now in the comments, what is something that you want to learn more about? Let's just quickly touch on two things, 10 seconds on each. This is the Discord. I say it every single time, but if you're new here, I just want to make sure you have the access to the Discord. This is the projections Discord, but you see NBA chat. We have an NCAA chat for the bracket. A lot of things going on in here. MLB chat, golf, NASCAR, people talking in all these chats throughout each and every day. It's just a way to talk to other people who are like-minded, who share common interests, to get some strategy talk. So go down below and you can get into it. And if you do want player projections for the NBA and what will soon be the MLB, NBA, a much more projectable sport, I would say you could really just plug projections in and probably win on most nights for cash and things like that. So that you can get those over on Patreon. I do my own projections. I use them personally. All right, with that said, and without further ado, let's crack into it like we always do with the injury news. It's a 6-game slate, so a little bit of a smaller slate means a little bit less injury news, right? Only 12 teams playing today compared to yesterday when there's 18. And we have a lot of this news already kind of hashed out for us. I can go through and I could sort it here. And let's sort it by team like we usually do and see what we get. All right. So there's really not that many big pieces of news. Some will open up value depending on the player, and we could start right away with Washington. Trevor Ariza left yesterday's game with an injury. If he is out, the impacted players, look, you can rotate a bunch of different guys in. Jeff Green, Bobby Portis. Well, Bobby Portis at the 5, you can rotate Jabari Parker, Jeff Green to see some 3-time. But the main beneficiary is going to be Troy Brown. He's $3,100. He's seen 20-plus minutes in, I believe, 3 straight games. And yesterday, the game that Ariza left, I believe he started the second half, and he played 30 total minutes in that game. So at $3,100, it quickly becomes a very nice value. The matchup isn't great against Denver, a big team, but it almost doesn't matter, and it really doesn't matter at that price of $3,100. The matchup, none of that matters. A guy priced at $3,100 compared to a value play at $4,500 is such a huge difference, that $1,400, because he can get you 15 points, and yes, 15 points, which I don't believe is hitting value. People will say, oh, he 5X. That's not value to me, because on most nights it won't win you anything. But if that extra $1,400 lets you get up to Russell Westbrook plus somebody else on that slate, or for this slate, if it lets you get up to the 2 highest priced players, and they both go for their 80-point games, well, now you're in the making for, out of those 3 combined, 175 out of 3 players, which is very, very good. Even if that guy only gets you 15, it lets you open up that. I don't like that about players that are $3,100, but I think that 30 minutes, if we can expect, and that's what I've projected right now, I'm projecting Ariza to be out. For a guy like Troy Brown, you can expect more than 15 points on most nights. The Phoenix injury news, and we have a lot of it already. Tyler Johnson, point guard, he's going to miss his 3rd straight game. Kelly Oubre will miss his 2nd straight game, and TJ Warren will miss his, I don't even know, 40th straight game. And Richaun Holmes is questionable today. So the biggest beneficiary is Tyler Johnson being out. It's going to give DeAnthony Melton potentially the start again today. Probably see somewhere around 23 minutes is what I have him at today. I think I have him at 24. But it's going to give Devin Booker just more usage overall, more time at the point guard position, more double-double upside, 60-point upside is there now. Kelly Oubre Jr. being out is going to help Mikal Bridges, and it's going to help Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson should be now seeing 32-plus minutes. I have him at 32 today. And Mikal Bridges probably closer to 34, a much worse point-per-minute guy than Josh Jackson, though. Richaun Holmes questionable is actually somewhat important. One, it's going to give Dragon Bender more time at the 4, potentially even to start. Probably sees low to mid-20s. Josh Jackson potentially could see some more time at the 4. So that's actually important with Rashawn Holmes. And Rashawn Holmes, when he's on the court, takes some rebounding usage away from the likes of DeAndre Ayton. So I could give a little bump to Ayton's rebounding rate. Up next is Jeff Teague. It's really all these Minnesota guys, and we have a lot of them, but most of them aren't that new. Jeff Teague is out once again, and Derrick Rose, we got that news early. We usually wait on that news, so it's nice to have it early. That's going to directly affect Tyus Jones, who saw the most minutes that he's seen as of late with, I believe, 33 against Golden State in the last game. So Tyus Jones continues to see the start against Charlotte, which is definitely not the worst of matchups for him. And then Josh Okogie, who's seen 30-plus minutes in back-to-back games. He's only $3,900 right now if we don't get any news on Ariza. If Ariza's in, let's say, Josh Okogie becomes the best value play to me on this slate early on at only $3,900, and I think you can shoe him in for seeing with Luol Deng out, with Luol Deng out, with Derrick Rose and Teague out. Even if, and we saw it last game, Tyus Jones goes for 32-plus minutes, Josh Okogie has still seen 30-plus minutes. 3,900, he's not a great point per minute guy, but if he's going to be out there for 32 minutes, it feels good. Luol Deng is out. Taj Gibson is questionable. This is pretty big. If Taj Gibson is out, you get Dario Saric at the 4. You're probably going to get just more overall minutes for the likes of Wiggins and Josh Okogie and all those types of guys. And also Wiggins is also bumped by the fact that Derrick Rose is out, who sees more usage off the bench. Jeff Teague being out, I mentioned it all the time. If you watch the Awesome guys, whoever you mention, it's pretty evident that Karl-Anthony Towns becomes a much better play with Jeff Teague out in terms of his floor just increases by 5 points. He's going to have an extra 3 assists a game, potentially an extra 4 or 5. Just more usage to go around. Robin Covington remains out. He's been out for a while now. Darren Collinson is questionable today. He missed the last game. Corey Joe got the start. Corey Joe didn't really do anything with that start. Aaron Holiday saw some minutes off the bench. So I'm really not concerned, especially against Golden State, Klay Thompson, Steph. If Collinson's out, I really don't want to go to Corey Joe. Maybe if it gets me up somewhere else. I'm not really dying for that. If Collinson's in, he's somewhat interesting, but again, this is sort of a neutral spot for me. DeMarcus Cousins, they said that he is expected to play today after missing the last 2 games, so he's probable today. It's just going to bump out Andrew Bogut. It's going to reduce the usage of a guy like Steph Curry and Durant and all the other big 4 out there. Maxi Kleber missed last game, is questionable today. If he's out, I expected yesterday Dorian Finney-Smith, DFS, to see more time. Only saw 11 minutes. I'm actually curious where those minutes went yesterday. Let's just take a quick look at this for Dallas, because I don't know where they went, because we also saw that Powell only got 26 yesterday. Dorian Finney-Smith only got 11. What did Dirk end up with? This could be where it is. Dirk's only 14, so I don't know where these forward minutes had gone. Tim Hardaway only 24. I don't think they pulled the players. Okay, so 6 minutes went to Giannis's brother, so that's 6 minutes that we could pull from somewhere that really weren't. Justin Jackson got 34, so that's where the minutes went. $3,000 Justin Jackson comes out of nowhere with 34 minutes. He gets 21 points and 4 rebounds, so I didn't know this. I don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you, looking at it right away. He becomes interesting. Not a lot of people are really going to see this and pick up on this. Now, 1,000 plus will once they watch this video. But this is definitely interesting. I mean, the game before that he played 12, the game before that 16, and then he was playing absolutely nothing. I don't think they're just going to phase out Dorian Finney-Smith, but Justin Jackson, nice performance yesterday. I imagine he sees some time. 34, though, seems like a stretch. Was there foul trouble for Dorian Finney-Smith? No fouls at all, or one personal foul. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I'm going to have to dig deeper into that. Maybe there was some comments made by the coaches. But Maxi Kleber being out, I guess it's going to affect Dorian Finney-Smith, Dirk, and now also Justin Jackson, who saw 34 minutes in the last game. That's definitely interesting. Cody Zeller's doubtful. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is out, so you're going to just see more Bismack Biyombo at the 5, along with Marvin Williams. Miles Bridges should see some more time. So that's all there is related to the injury news for today. Obviously, the biggest pieces of information right now, if Trevor Ariza is out, it will open up some pretty nice value at the $3,100 mark in Troy Brown. Outside of that, I think we can kind of try and dig deeper maybe into this Justin Jackson and see why he played 34 minutes in the last game. No real things I'm looking at besides that Taj Gibson maybe if you want to play Dario Saric. I'm not really there. Before we move on, hit me with a thumbs up. Subscribe right now if you haven't. Give you guys that push if you haven't already. And drop down in the comments, what is the one piece of information that you want to know more about coming this MLB DFS season? Let me know that down below. I'll handle it. Or I'll try and help you handle it. 95% is, I don't know why I said that out loud, that's what the Zoom is on. So here we go. Target offense sheet for today. 3 teams on back-to-backs is Washington, who went into overtime, Dallas, and Utah. So those are the 3 teams on the back-to-back today. I don't believe there are any others. So in terms of, let's just look at Vegas and the pace to see teams to target to start. In terms of Vegas, or in terms of the pace, we can start Atlanta and Utah. Utah is going to get a pace-up spot here against Atlanta, and then Sacramento and Dallas, both over 105 possessions per team. Pace just means possessions per team per game. More possessions, more fantasy points, more real-life points. Sacramento and Dallas, 105 pace. They have the highest over-under at 229. But really, all of these first 4 games on the slate, which I would classify as the best 4, it doesn't mean that you have to only play guys from those games, because that's definitely not the case once we get down to the Detroit game. But the top 4 games are pretty much all in the same area for me in terms of total, right? 229, 228, 226, 228.5. It's really not that different. But pace is a little bit different. You're going to get more possessions out of Atlanta and Utah, pace up spot for Utah. You're going to get more possessions out of Sacramento and Dallas, pace up spot for Dallas. We could start just at the top, and I can go down these. So Washington and Denver. Washington goes into overtime yesterday. Bradley Beal, I would not expect really his minutes to come down below 37 today. In this game, you could see the best matchup in this entire game for Washington is that Trevor Ariza-Troy Brown spot. So if Ariza's out, it's even juicier because Denver struggles defending the 3, the small forward, 45.22 points given up over the last 30 days. On the flip side, Paul Millsap draws a nice matchup today. So does Jokic, who's a little bit too cheap. Both draw a nice matchup. Jamal Murray's price is down now to just $6K flat. Also becomes interesting. I'm interested in Troy Brown. I'm interested in Millsap and Jokic and a little bit of Murray in that spot. I like the over-under. You can see that Washington still is pretty bad against rebounding right here. The lowest on this slate in terms of rebounding rate other than Phoenix, which we'll get to. So the bigs, Millsap, it makes sense. Price coming down a little bit. Jokic just a little bit too cheap, especially for his matchup today. And the game, look, 7 spread. I'm not too concerned about a blowout ever, especially now when there's a 7 spread on it. Looking over to the next game, Charlotte and Minnesota. I think Kemba has a nice spot here. It's indicated by how many points given up Minnesota over the last 30 days. I think Towns is just too cheap at 10K. Price only comes up $300. That's really nothing, in my opinion. He has a very nice matchup with no Cody Zeller today, which is going to be Bismack Biyombo, which in his own right is a good defender, but he can't stay on the court that long against Towns, and Towns really is matchup proof at this point, averaging like 35, 14, and 6 over the last since the All-Star break or something ridiculous. He has a built-in nice matchup even if Zeller was out there. It's hard to get away from Towns here. Tyus Jones' price coming up a little bit too much for me. I'm interested in Josh Okogie, who also has a nice matchup at the 2. The best matchup on the entire slate in terms of the target offense sheet, 45.68 points given up to the shooting guard position over the last 30 days. That is Charlotte. So interested on Charlotte's side and pretty much Kemba. Maybe take a glance at Marvin Williams, but nothing major there. Maybe Frank Kaminsky. It's pretty much Kemba. And then on the other side, it's going to be Towns and it's going to be Josh Okogie with a little bit of Andrew Wiggins sprinkled in. Dario Saric becomes more interesting if Gibson is out. Atlanta and Utah. So usually you want to target Atlanta at the guards, right? So for Utah, that's Donovan Mitchell. That's Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio's minutes have been all over the place. I have him projected for 28 today. If the game just stays close, I imagine he gets there. But that's really a question that is actually worth considering. Outside of that, on the Utah side, Rudy Gobert remains too cheap on Draftkings. And we'll get to another guy who remains too cheap, especially in this matchup against Atlanta. Atlanta actually rebounds pretty nicely. You can see the rebounding rate there is pretty much league average, right? They're not dreadful compared to what they are defending the guards and assist rates and things like that. You can see 0.99 right here for Atlanta, so right around league average. If it says 1, that means league average. Anything below is below average. So they're not terrible there, but the fact that this game is going to have an increased pace just means more opportunities for Gobert to go for 12 to 15 rebounds. So it's Gobert for me on this side with Ricky Rubio and a little bit of interest in Donovan Mitchell. It's just tough for me to get there at his price based on who else is around him. The Atlanta side, nothing's really drawing attraction for me. Trae Young, $7,500. He's not playing those 37 minutes he was 3 weeks ago. This is a spot that is scary because the total is so high, 228, pretty much a virtual tie with the 229 total, and it has a very high pace. So you would imagine there's going to be points and possessions and scores, lots of them here. So going to Trae Young becomes very contrarian, especially against this good defense in Utah. But in terms of cash, or if you're not trying to take that sort of risk, I'd stick to the Utah side of the ball. Sacramento and Dallas. So a couple of things just to touch on here. Sacramento versus Dallas, highest or highest total, second highest pace by one possession less than that Atlanta-Utah game. I'm interested in Luka. We saw what D'Angelo Russell, who went bonkers against Sacramento, did the other day in a pace-up spot. Luka gets a pace-up spot here. He just played in overtime. He's been battling injuries, so keep an eye on him in terms of if they say anything about his status. As of right now, I'm just assuming that he'll be fine. So nice pace-up spot for a lot of guys on the Dallas side. I'm really only interested in Luka, but I want to look more into this Justin Jackson 34 minutes out of nowhere game. Dorian Finney-Smith only seeing an 11-burger, barely even getting any time. So that's definitely something I want to dig more into, but it's pretty much Luka. On the Sacramento side of the ball, Marvin Bagley Jr. played 29 minutes in the last game. If he's going to play 29 minutes at his price of $5,600 with Power 4 eligibility on Draftkings, I love that. He's just a very good value play. Even against Dallas, it's not that tough of a matchup, especially if Justin Jackson's going to be out there more so than Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, for the Sacramento side, nice pace-up spot overall for Dallas. So Luka, Justin Jackson, want to dig deeper into that. Sacramento, it's really just Buddy Hield becomes a nice tournament option. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox, if the minutes are still going to be there, it seems like they're slowly starting to dwindle down as the season comes to an end. So the only guy I really want to just look deeper into would be Marvin Bagley. Phoenix and Detroit. So not a great over-under at 218.5, but not dreadful. The pace is below league average, the slowest on the slate at 100.73. Look, Detroit just plays so slow. Phoenix doesn't play that fast. Andre Drummond's $8,700. His price came up $100 after just dropping a 60-burger on everybody 2 nights ago. I don't know what DraftKings is doing. He's Rudy Gobert, except a lot better because they don't change either their prices and they're always on their price. But this guy should be $10,000. I'm not even kidding. He should be $10,000 on DraftKings. And he's not. He should be right where Karl-Anthony Towns is. Look at their production since the All-Star break. Towns has been a monster. And Andre Drummond's been right there. He has the dream matchup today against a Phoenix team that is on this slate last in rebounding percentage. DeAndre Ayton's bad. Rashawn Holmes being out would be an even bigger bump. You're going to get Towns facing Dragon Bender and DeAndre Ayton, which are just no match for Karl-Anthony Towns when he's playing some of the best ball of his career with no Jeff Teague, with no Derrick Rose. All the usage is going to be soaked up by Towns. He's going to get ball handling and assist duties. I don't know how you go away from Towns. I just got back to that. That got flopped quick. I just literally combined. Wow, it's early. I need coffee. I haven't had it. I literally just combined the value pieces for Towns and Drummond into one monster. No, but yeah, Towns is in a great spot. But Drummond here against this Phoenix team that is going with backup bigs, that even if all the guys were in there, like Rashawn Holmes, who's really going to be stopping Andre Drummond today? $8,700 is the biggest piece there. If he's $10,000, I'd still be considering playing him. He's $8,700. I don't know how you don't play him. He has pretty much the best matchup with a virtual tie on this slate. 59.96 DraftKings points per game giving up to that center position by Phoenix over the last 30 days. The power forward position is just as nice as a spot today. So if you want to go Blake Griffin there, I think it's a nice spot at 7,800. A decent matchup at the 1, especially if Devin Booker's going to be there more. A guy who can't defend anything with Reggie Jackson. Yeah, the Phoenix side of the ball, or the Detroit side of the ball is clear for me. I want all the Andre Drummond I can get. I'll sprinkle in some Reggie Jackson, maybe sprinkle in some Blake Griffin, not as needed. For me, the priorities would go Drummond by a mile, Reggie Jackson due to price, and then Blake, although Blake is close with Jackson for second on that team. The Phoenix side of the ball, look, Booker's $8,800 now. He's the same price as Luka. I'd rather take Luka, even if we're going to get Kelly Oubre and Tyler Johnson out here. Josh Jackson still a little bit cheap at $4,800. Tougher matchup against a bigger Detroit team that does rebound the ball well. But Josh Jackson, again, $4,800 if you're looking for value. No Oubre, should see 32-plus minutes. Same goes for McCall Bridges. No interest in Ayton for me. Golden State and Indiana, I'm not going to say anything here. I don't want anything from either of these teams. That's it. I don't want anything from either of these teams. If Golden State is completely healthy, I don't want anything there. In Indiana, nothing stands out to me. You can go Thad Young. He'd be the only piece, but nothing stands out to me. So let's go over to early interest, and I've pretty much covered them all already. If you haven't yet, definitely hit up the Discord below. Consider supporting me through Patreon, and you would get the projections as well there. So Troy Brown is a clear. And let's do this by salary. Let's see if that would work. This would give us just a better look at everybody. There we go. So now it's sorted by salary. So Karl-Anthony Towns is not my favorite play on the slate, actually, because Andre Drummond is on the slate. But as of right now, Karl Anthony Towns is 1A, 1B with Andre Drummond. Look, no Jeff Teague, no Derrick Rose. It's just clear cut, especially in a matchup against Charlotte, where he'll be facing Bismack Biyombo for 12 of his minutes, and then he'll be facing Marvin Williams and whoever elder dust Frank Kaminsky they're going to try and put at the center. Towns only priced up $300 more. He's priced at a point where I think he easily goes for 55 today, but he has a ceiling of close to 75, so $10,000 is fine. Jokic, I'm interested in, but I'm probably not going to get there much, especially if I probably won't be playing many lineups tonight, just one main lineup or a couple lineups in a GPP, because Drummond is $900 cheaper. And I think Drummond scores more points by far margin than Jokic tonight. Sure, Jokic might have a little bit of a bigger ceiling, but with all their guys healthy, with the season coming to an end, with them going into sort of playoff rotation mode, and not giving Jokic 35 minutes, although sometimes it spikes, but more so around the 31, 32, I'd rather take Drummond there. Luka, 8,900. I like the pace up spot for him. Just overall nice situation. Still, again, only 8,900. There's just value built in on this slate at the upper range in Karl Anthony Towns, Luka, and Drummond. Even Jokic, to my opinion. Rudy Gobert, too cheap. Donovan Mitchell, 8,200. It's going to be tough for me to get there when Andre Drummond is 8,700 across different positions, when Luka is 8,900. But the matchup's great against the Hawks. Kemba, 8,100 in that game against Minnesota would be the real only piece I would look to from the Charlotte side of the ball. Blake Griffin, 7,800. Probably won't get much of it, but he is in a very good spot, and he is too cheap. Paul Millsap, a very good spot, the best spot on the slate for the power forward position against Washington. Washington can't really rebound the ball. Paul Millsap can. He's playing elevated minutes around 32, 33. 6,700 seems a little bit steep, but I'm fine paying it. Marvin Bagley Jr., if this guy gets thrown in the starting lineup, and I think we can infer now based on playing 29 minutes in the last game, he might be playing 28 plus minutes. And if he's going to get 28 minutes at 5,600 and I can slot him into the power forward spot, I love him. Ricky Rubio, ideal matchup against Atlanta today. Best matchup on the slate for the point guard by far. It's just the fact that we don't know if he'll get 22 minutes or 30 minutes today. I have him in for 28, but realistically, it could be easily 25. And I'd say, yeah, sure, that sounds right. Reggie Jackson, 5,100, put him in the shooting guard spot. His minutes are also a little bit froggy with Ish Smith playing great ball behind him. But I think Reggie Jackson, I have him in for 28, Ish Smith for 20 today. We talked about Josh Jackson, potential value. Dario Saric, potential value if Taj Gibson's out. Josh Okogie, 3,900, is the best value play in terms of price on the slate if Ariza is in. If Ariza is out, Troy Brown at 3,100 becomes almost a virtual lock for me. But that's it. That is the early interest. I probably talked really fast, but I'm running a little bit behind today, trying to learn some MLB or get my MLB sheets together, I should say. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much. I'll just say the Discord once again. Hop up in the Discord. People are already chatting. I got to catch up in there. The projections are already posted today, so if you want them for today, you just log on through Patreon right here. Once you're logged in through Patreon, they'll be on there. It'll say like Fanduel or Draftkings, and depending on which one you bought or if you bought both of them, you'll have access. You just click it, you download the Excel file, and there you go. I update them like at least 2 to 3 times a day, and if there's a lot of news, usually closer to 5. So thank you guys so much. My name's Sal. You already know that. Peace out.